I did a video a little bit ago talking about which Star Wars sets to invest in and which Star Wars sets not to invest in. And one of the ones I suggested not to invest in was the AT-AT set 75288. Now the funny thing about that video was I got a lot of comments in regards to the AT-AT, not talking about if you should invest in that set or if you shouldn't, but a lot of people tell me I'm pronouncing AT-AT completely wrong. It should be AT-AT. Why in the world are you pronouncing it AT-AT? Well, for one, I'm a lifetime Star Wars fan. I watched the very first Episode 4 movie back in 1978 when it first came out, and I've been hooked ever since. I play with all the toys, and me and all of my friends, we always called it the AT-AT, and that's what we called it. Honestly, until I started doing these YouTube videos, I never had anybody tell me otherwise, that it was AT-AT and not AT-AT. All of my friends, we've always just called it AT-AT. When I saw the first comment talking about how I pronounced it, I thought, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Then I started getting loads more comments. Eventually I thought, I better do a deep dive into how you pronounce the AT-AT or AT-AT. And what did I find out? Well, it is called AT-AT. Thank you very much. And what do you know? If you look at Mark Hamill's tweet right there, he says, yeah, AT-AT's just fine. But of course, he calls them walkers. And you know what? If you contact Lucasfilm and you ask their public relations team, what do you call? They call it AT-AT as well. Well, I know some people say, how can you call it AT-AT when the ATST is called ATST? Well, if you look at two government organizations, you talk about the FDA or the Food and Drug Administration, everybody calls that FDA. But if you look at HUD, which is the Housing and Urban Development, everybody calls it HUD. Nobody says HUD, they all say HUD. So that's because you can say HUD. You can't really say that with FDA. It's just the same way. You can say AT-AT, but if you're going to talk about the ATST, you have to say ATST, because AT-ST just doesn't really sound right. And when I grew up, I played with Star Wars toys made by Kenner. And if you look at those old Kenner Star Wars commercials, they always called it the AT-AT. In fact, I'm going to post a Kenner commercial back from the 80s down below, and you can see it and watch it and see exactly what I'm talking about, which is probably another reason why everybody in my generation called it AT-AT. If you want to disagree with me, that's okay. I got Mark Hamill on my side, I got Lucasfilms on my side, so I think it's called AT-AT. But if you're still watching this YouTube video, first of all, thanks a lot, and secondly, hey, I really don't care. AT-AT, AT-AT, walkers, whatever. And I'm going to leave you with one more link below. If you look at the interview with Dave Filoni, who's done many Star Wars projects, and ask him, how do you pronounce it? He actually agrees. You can call it AT-AT, AT-AT, or walkers. He's good with all three of them. So anyway, we could just agree to disagree if you want, but you guys don't have to give me any more comments about how I mispronounced AT-AT, because I'm going to keep calling it that. Good luck. We'll see you next time.